If you have come to see me for cardiovascular health, then here are a few things to keep in mind. Well, there are two major things or basic things that we focus on when it comes to cardiovascular health. And one is blood pressure and the other is high cholesterol. These are the two indicators showing that maybe there is some derangement in your cardiovascular status. So if your blood pressure is high, then here are a few things to keep in mind. Well, before we even start taking medications, we can do a few things to bring the blood pressure down so you never have to take medicine. So the first thing to focus on is, yes, you guessed it right, and that is diet. So make sure that you are following a low salt diet regimen. There is very little saturated fats, there is zero trans fats, and most of your dietary fat sources are coming from polyunsaturated and monounsaturated fats. The next thing in diet is carbohydrates. So although people don't think of sugar as being a reason for having high blood pressure, high sugar in the diet or refined carbohydrates in the diet can lead to increase in weight and also inflammation in the body, which can give rise to eventually high blood pressure. So we make sure that you are not eating a lot of sugar, you're not eating refined carbohydrates, and all the carbohydrates that you're eating are coming from complex sources of carbohydrates, which basically means green leafy vegetables. The next thing is protein sources. So make sure that you try to get your proteins mostly from lean plant-derived protein sources. Even if you do not want to be 100% plant-based, if you're eating any animal products, it should be from lean sources. This is as far as the diet is concerned. There are some functional foods which can also lower the blood pressure to some degree, and that those can be incorporated in the diet. Now, if a diet is followed very judiciously, then it can actually bring your blood pressure down directly by about 5 to 10 points. And with proper diet, if you are able to lose some weight, then the blood pressure will come down another 10 points or so. So it is extremely important to follow a good diet. Of course, to say no to cigarette smoking and very, very little alcohol, even if necessary. Next thing is good exercise. So not only 150 minutes of aerobic exercise every week, but also try to make sure that you incorporate movements in your daily routine so that your metabolism keeps going. This exercise will bring the blood pressure down another about 5 points or so. And the next two things are stress management and proper sleep. So about 20 to 30% of adult US population has sleep apnea or interrupted sleep. So what you want to do is, if you have a habit of snoring, or if you even suspect that you may have sleep apnea, do bring it up and we can do the sleep study, because that is one of the major causes of hypertension these days, or secondary hypertension these days. The next thing to keep in mind is stress management. So even if stress cannot be completely eliminated from life, it should be managed properly so that it does not cause more and more blood pressure elevation and other problems in terms of your health. So after all of these lifestyle modifications have been done, with each one of those, the blood pressure can be brought down about 20% or 20 points, and with that you do not even need to take any blood pressure medicine. But if you have to, and if your blood pressure continues to stay high despite all of these interventions, do not be hard on yourself. It's very, very possible that this is just a genetic makeup and you are just going to have high blood pressure despite living a very, very healthy lifestyle. Well, in that case, we can start medications, and with medications always comes side effects. So we want to make sure that you are aware of those side effects and do whatever we can to mitigate the effects of those side effects. Lastly, if your blood pressure has been high for quite some time, even for a few years, we need to make sure that we look at all those things that can happen as a result of high blood pressure over time. In other words, complications of hypertension. So we will make sure that you get your routine cardiac checkup in the form of either stress test, echocardiogram, or a very cool test called coronary artery calcium score, because it gives us a very good piece of information in terms of long-term prognosis, and we can prevent a lot of things by doing these tests. So that is as far as the blood pressure is concerned. The next piece, or the second part of the cardiovascular health, is high cholesterol. So high cholesterol, hyperlipidemia, or sometimes dyslipidemia, when the total cholesterol may not be all that high, but your LDL or the bad cholesterol is high and the good HDL is low, can also pose a lot of risk in terms of long-term cardiovascular problems and also cerebrovascular problems which manifest as stroke. So we need to make sure that the lipid panel is appropriate and is managed well. So again, in terms of managing it, the first and the foremost treatment is non-pharmacological or lifestyle intervention. And good news is that everything that we talked about for blood pressure management, in terms of diet, exercise, stress, and sleep, all of those interventions can actually improve lipid panel as well. So just by doing those things or focusing on those 4 areas, lipid panel can also be improved. So if your cholesterol can be managed by just doing these things, then there is no need to take medicine, as long as we check the levels every so often, usually about once a year. If your cholesterol continues to be high, again, do not be harsh on yourself. Do not feel like it's a failure on your part or a lifestyle problem. It may just be a hereditary thing. So then it is basically coming from your family history. So what we need to then do is we need to still manage it. So the cholesterol lowering medications can be used, supplements can be used, which will bring down the cholesterol maybe about 10 to 20% at the most. The supplements, although are good and do not have too many side effects, but they are not all that potent. So they just offer modest or mild amount of benefit. Medications are usually very strong and potent, but they do come with side effects. So we need to make sure that we are aware of those side effects and manage them at the same time. After taking the medicine, if the cholesterol is under good control, that's great, but it doesn't mean that the game is over. We still need to make sure that there is no long-term complications arising from high cholesterol, and those are the same, basically plaque buildup, atherosclerosis, and the risk of MI or the heart attack and stroke. So in order to look for those things, we can offer some advanced level testing in the form of coronary artery calcium score, which looks at the burden of the plaque in the coronary arteries. We can do the carotid ultrasound. We can also do the echocardiogram, and we can do the stress test as well. Lastly, when it comes to lipid panel, we not only test for routine lipid panel, which checks for total cholesterol, high density and low density lipids, and the triglycerides, but we also can do advanced level lipid panel, which includes the magnetic resonant image derived lipid panel, and it basically tests for not only the particle size but also the particle number, and it tells us exactly how bad the cholesterol particles are that are circulating in the blood. So with the combination of all this testing, lifestyle intervention, and some pharmacologic intervention, hopefully we can stay in good shape when it comes to cardiovascular health. Thank you.